Hello, this is Kevin Cook, and this is our January installment of Access Live, our Facebook Live television show. And with me this morning is our city manager, Tony Delgado.
Hey,
Tony,
Kevin. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year to you. And as we welcome the new year, it's 2018, we all have resolutions and things we're going to do differently. And Tony, what are some of the big things we can look for with the city of Lakeland in 2018?
Well, 2017 was an exciting and challenging year, from hurricanes to a big election that brought forward four newly elected policymakers to the city.
And later this morning, we're going to meet with our new mayor, Bill Mutz.
Great person. He's got a love of this city. I think he's going to do wonderful things. But with that comes new philosophies, new agendas, trying to go ahead and make sure each one of those policymakers is up to speed on all the things that are happening in our city, not just from the projects and initiatives, but really how we operate. So that's going to be something that we'll be working on very closely with our new policymakers here over the first month. Obviously, there are new projects coming down the pike, and new challenges that this commission is going to have to take on. Our budget, we came out very good this fiscal year. We were able to maintain our current millage rate. We were able to go ahead and highlight some key initiatives that we'll be doing without impacting the budget too bad. Budget of almost $600 million is a big policy. A lot of policy decisions go into trying to make that happen, the strategic planning decisions. So we're moving forward with that. We've got a brand new park going up on the north side, Cook Park.
We do.
And so that's being developed as we go along. We're talking about a dog park up near Cleveland Heights golf course,
and
too.
I see that they're clearing the land for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ride by it every day.
Working with a lot of partners. I think people saw a lot of the land get cleared here recently around Lake Mirror for Catapult 2.0, which maybe it's Catapult 3.0 today. And so that entrepreneurial facility is going to be happening over this next year. We're talking about the possibility of additional things happening downtown, like a parking garage. There's some discussions going on right now about what great location would be for a new parking garage, so that could help establish new development in downtown. We've got a new fire chief.
We do.
Yeah, Chief Doug Riley was inducted just the other day. He was through his pinning ceremony. A long-term veteran of our fire department, 30-plus years with us. He's, I think, going to be a great fire chief and live up to the legacy of wonderful fire chiefs that we have with the organization.
And we've got a lot happening at the airport as well.
Airport is nonstop. Gene Conrad and his staff continue to do things and continue to find ways and grants to fund those type of things. So we'll be seeing a new international airport moniker coming out, thanks to getting our customs operation up and operating here in brand new customs building, and I'm sure we'll be having a dedication here fairly soon as the next couple of months come about. So the airport is doing some pretty wonderful things right now.
And I understood, we recently met with Gene Conrad, who is the Lakeland Linder Regional Airport Director, and as our city manager stated, it's soon to be Lakeland Linder International Airport, hopefully. Gene shared with us that it's a good thing we got the customs office built in a location, because we house NOAA, and a lot of times NOAA will have to do international flights, and they would have to go do customs somewhere else and then come back in, which was a hindrance to their operation.
Or anybody flying in from outside the United States coming into Lakeland Linder, they would have to go make a stop in Orlando or Tampa before coming in. So.
And I know that Gene reports directly to you, and one of the things that we're working on, he stated, was becoming a cargo location, and we've got some big Florida businesses that he's talking to that this could happen sooner than later, where we'd have cargo planes coming in, so customs is very important in that respect as well.
We always talk about the possibility of commercial, even if limited commercial, but really there is a great opportunity to look at cargo, bring cargo in, and really make a statement that Lakeland is here for the business community as part of that too. So.
Well, I see that Thomas Gray has sent us a question. When will railroad crossing at Crystal Lake in 98 be redone? Actually, we're going to have Angelo, our traffic operations manager, come in just a few minutes, and we're going to save that question for him because he'll be the better person to answer that. But maybe...
No, Angelo is the right person to answer it regarding the operational and technical side. But one of the things you always have to remember is we have to partner with CSX.
Correct.
And so when any maintenance is being done, any upgrades are being done, there has to be a true partnership with CSX because they normally own the right-of-way surrounding that rail. So it's not something the city can just go ahead and do on our own. We need to have CSX also involved in that maintenance and operation of that.
And that is correct. And just for our viewers out there, send us your questions. We can certainly try to answer them the best we can. If we can't get an answer today, we'll certainly follow up and post those answers in the text there with your post as well, just to respond to your post. Tony, we've also got some exciting things happening with LPD. I know that our violent crime's down.
Yeah, and I hope you get a chance to get Larry Giddens, our chief of police, in here to give you the data.
Yes.
So one of the things that Larry and his staff have been working on, Kevin, for the last 4 years actually, 2014, when we started taking a look at the increase in gang-type violence, was to really concentrate with the gang task force that was City Commissioner Philip Walker heads, was concentrate on how we could reduce gang-type violence by adding neighborhood policing, by doing some other initiatives that were involved in trying to curb that. We come to find that not just gang-type violence, but overall violence is down significantly over the past 2 years, and Larry has some really good numbers to share with everybody. I hope you can get him on here soon because the data, it's proof in the pudding.
Right. And it's really exciting, too, because that's just one of those initiatives. It had a lot of partnerships with not only other law enforcement agencies, but also ministers and those in the community. And it was really a team. It takes a village, and it's proven to work.
I mean, I want to give a quick plug before I get out of here to Mike Cooper and the Freedom Center. You know, Mike lives and breathes those communities in Lakeland. He took a big role in trying to make those things happen, and ultimately he became our Citizen of the Year this past year for 2017 because of the role he took and because of the fact that he worked so closely with our police department in order to try to impact some of that.
He does a fantastic job, and that's Mike Cooper at the Dream Center.
Dream Center, yeah.
He actually lives and breathes, as Tony mentioned, and he goes out into the neighborhoods and really has a hands-on approach. Before our city manager gets out, I want to just give a quick plug to Tony Talks, which will be taking place on February 21st at 7:30 a.m. here at City Hall.
Yeah, I appreciate you and the staff here in our communications division putting that together last year. You know, we weren't sure how it was going to work out and wasn't sure how many people would show up, but we come to get a lot of people in the community coming on out and asking some great questions about the future of Lakeland, some of the projects we might be doing, some of the challenges we might be dealing with, and it's turned into be a great forum for not just me, but all our staff, every one of our staff members, to kind of understand what the community's thinking.
So this is an event where you get to come in. The public is invited here at City Hall, 7:30 in the morning on February 21st. We have coffee, we have pastries, and you get to come in and actually talk to our city manager and key staff members there to talk about any issues you may have, or it's really your forum.
Yeah. You know, we'll talk about a few things, just kind of go ahead
prime the pump
a little bit. We'll talk about some of the things that might be coming up in some projects, but really it's there for us to have a really open and comfortable dialogue.
Well, Tony, it's really exciting. It's a new year. It's a new dawn, if you will. We've got 3 new commissioners. We have a brand new mayor, and there's a lot of exciting things happening in the Lakeland area.
Absolutely. I wish everybody, I hope they had a safe and healthy new year and holiday season. It's time for us to get back to work, and so staff is ready and rearing to go.
Well, thank you, Tony,
my friend.
and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Angelo Rao. He is our manager of traffic operations and parking. Angelo, he's coming into the studio now. Angelo, how are you today?
Well, very well. How are you?
Good to see you. Please have a seat, my friend.
Of course.
So, Angelo, this is our Facebook Live. We've got an audience that watching us right now, and they're able to ask questions, pose questions. They post questions, and we respond. Well, a couple of things that I really want to talk to you about.
Sure.
And let's do this one first. As you can see the graphic up behind us,
Yes.
is the new parking programs that we've initiated that start tomorrow and for downtown parking.
Correct, the 9th, Tuesday the 9th.
That is correct.
It's a two-pronged program. One is, we affectionately called it Free After 3, and that is on the lower level of the Main Street Garage.
Right.
Accessing it through the Cedar Avenue entrance.
Right.
Okay.
And what you can see here on the graphic is the depicted in brown. That is the Main Street parking garage. So it is now free after 3 p.m., but you have to access off Cedar.
Off Cedar, please.
Now, why
yes.
is that?
Because the entrance of Main Street gets you into the higher levels of the garage.
Got you.
And so we've allocated.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we've allocated about 44 spaces on the lower level off of the Cedar Street entrance. And what we're thinking is that after 3 o'clock, it gives folks that need a little bit more time to stay into the evening and get off the street and onto the garage and open up the street for customers.
Good.
A little bit more. So we're hoping that there'll be some synergy there with that. And completely free after 3. And of course, once you park at 3, you're good for the evening too.
That's good to know. And because we've had a lot of people, we've heard from our customers that come downtown that they need more than 2 hours.
Exactly.
So how have we answered that?
So then the second prong, as I mentioned earlier, is if I may, looking at the screen, the green areas, those are kind of a little bit further away from the core, the real core of the downtown. You can see there's a little bit of a scale here.
Right.
Anywhere from, say, 500 to 700 feet walk to the absolute core. What we've done is allocated about 60 spaces on street that allow a parker at 25 cents an hour, significantly reduced from the standard $1 per hour,
Right.
to park on the street for 25 cents an hour, unlimited. So let's say, for example, you need to be somewhere for 6 or 7 hours. Well, you're still going to get your 2 hours free, no matter what. But then instead of only buying 2 additional hours at $1 an hour, you can buy 5 hours
Right.
continuously at 25 cents an hour, plus the park mobile fee of 35 cents. So it'll be a significantly reduced parking fee, and more importantly, longer duration. And the trade-off is that it's a little bit further to walk to your core area.
We've got spaces on Orange, Massachusetts, and Maine.
Well said. Yes, sir.
Good.
You got it. Yeah.
And how many spaces again?
They're upwards in the order of 60 spaces, approximately.
60 spaces.
About.
And from my understanding, the first 2 hours are free.
First 2 hours are free, as always.
Right.
And then you start paying from the
your Park mobile map.
Mobile map.
And I'm going to, our app.
Right.
And I'm going to pull mine up here. I don't know if the viewing audience, there's an app, and it's available on your various devices. So we use Park Mobile. You set up an account, and what's cool about Park Mobile is I have traveled to Atlanta and used Park Mobile. I've been in Miami and used Park Mobile. So it's a nationally recognized app that once you set up an account, it's good at any community that has Park Mobile.
You can pre-program your license plate, you or your family members' license plates, and you don't have to even do that. You just pick your license plate, and away you go. So it's quite convenient.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. We have Michael asked a question, and it's the next topic we plan on talking about with Angelo, and that's the school zones at Lakeland High School. His question is, why didn't the new school zone at high school, I suppose he's talking about Lakeland High School, not get a sign to indicate where school zone is?
We're doing that. That's part of the phasing in. It's excellent. Who's that, Michael? Michael, you're bang on. Thank you so much. So doing in phasing, we did the speed limit first. We put in the speed limit of 50 miles per hour signs and the electronic flashing automatically, so it's an automatic call-on. And then the third phase is to put in the ending zone signs, which is going to be done either today or tomorrow at the absolute latest. And then the next phase is to we're working with LE to put in the LED street lighting, which will create even more illumination.
Right.
And the next phase after that, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in the next 4 to 6 weeks to install push-button pedestrian cross lights at Palmetto
and at Cumberland.
Good.
So 2 locations. What that'll do is basically it'll be what we affectionately call a hot button, where the nanosecond that you press the button, the light flashes on the sign automatically. Very, very effective.
So will
Catches
these
the eye.
signs be visible to the driver?
For northbound and southbound drivers on Hollingsworth Road
Good.
at both locations.
Good. So Dave says he likes our new parking program. Dave, that's really good to hear. But I really want to touch base on some of these new changes that we've done through the school zone at Lakeland High School. So in order to enhance pedestrian student safety, we've created a marked school zone.
Correct.
We have, and that's coming in phases. Michael, thank you for helping segue into that conversation.
Perfect segue.
Yeah, as
Thank
part of
you.
that, we have signed school zone with the speed limits posted.
30 miles per hour reduction in speed from 35. That's already done.
Good.
Yep.
We are going to have LED lighting for enhanced lighting, so better visibility, and we're going to have these signalized crosswalks.
Right.
Correct?
It'll be push button as soon as the pedestrian. And the other good news, if I may, it's 24/7. So obviously you want to focus on the children, on the kids crossing and with the parents, of course, but also people cross all the time.
Right.
So the beauty of it is that these crossing buttons operate 24/7. So if you're crossing on a Sunday or a Thursday afternoon, evening, whatever it is, the hot button will still work. And that the pedestrian sign will be illuminated with these, we nickname them blinker signs, and much effective
Yes.
at catching motorist attention. So we're looking forward to, I'm hoping in the next 4 to 6 weeks those will be installed. We've ordered them, they have to come in, they're a very special order, as you can imagine, and in the moment they come in, our team's ready to go.
Good. And as a segue from that, we have a number of these pedestrian marked crossings. We've got some on Lake Hollingsworth. We've got those installed at Lake Hollingsworth Road. And I'd like to reiterate to our viewers that, and there's state law. If someone is crossing there, you must stop. And I see it all the time on Lake Hollingsworth. People just continue to go by.
Thank you for saying that. And then you said the key word stop. In Florida, it's stop, not yield. So
Right.
There is that requirement. We all need to raise our consciousness and do that. I know we're always in a hurry. We've got to get there
Right.
yesterday kind of thing. But if I can beg to impose that if we could pay a little more attention, especially now that school's back in session, if we could pay a little more attention to that requirement to stop for pedestrians of all ages. I mean,
Right.
Regardless, but certainly with the children, with the schools back in session.
And I just want to give a quick notification to our viewers as well. We are in the process of rolling out a brand new Rules of the Road that will include some of these things. We are just waiting for the weather to get a little bit better and to get all the improvements for pedestrian safety plugged in there on Hollingsworth Road, and we're going to put some social media and some video out on those new enhancements. And Angelo, I'd be remiss. I've got Bay News 9 who they want to talk to us about the new parking changes today. So I don't know what your schedule's like, but I've got the mayor coming in, and maybe if you could just hang out for a few minutes.
I'll do that. Be happy to do that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Angelo, any other traffic enhancements that we want to talk about?
Gosh, we're still working on new parking issues, even longer term. My ultimate goal with parking downtown is to have almost a completely hardware-less parking. It's my dream. It's been my dream for years. I think we're that close. We have a system in place that hopefully is going to affect that very, very soon. We're probably I'm saying the spring of 2018. Can you imagine? We might be the first city in the country that has completely hardware-less parking. So I'm really excited about that strong potential. So we've got my fingers crossed on that.
It looks like we've got one of our viewers here. Why do we make separate mini signs for bikes?
Interesting. We have some on
Especially on New Jersey.
Yes, on the trail along paralleling New Jersey, but we also have some such signs on Lake Hollingsworth Drive.
Yes, we do
as well with the bike lanes. So yeah, it's and the even better news. As an engineer, I have to worry about what's legal, what's allowed. They are allowed in our manual, so it makes us give that extra confidence to go forward.
So the question was, why do we do it?
Oh, why do we do it? I heard, why don't we do it? Okay, much better. Why do we do it? Because we want to give. First of all, we're allowed to do it, and when things are allowed, there's a good reason for it. It means that we need to respect all users of the road, including bicyclists, pedestrians, motor vehicle drivers, transit drivers, all users of the road. And so we want to respect the needs of bicyclists as well, and give them additional attention that they may or may not require.
So for those, our viewers out there, we really, in the last several years, have really tried to become more multimodal, meaning various ways of moving, not only with cars, planes, trains, automobiles, but pedestrian and bicycles. And where you see those many stop signs is actually probably a two-way or three-way stop, or even a four-way stop in some instances where cycles are, they're supposed to adhere to traffic signs as well. So that's the reason.
And if I may be bold enough to add, currently we are a bronze award recipient for both bicycle and pedestrian safety in the United States of America. The whole country, bronze, and we're working our way to hopefully get to silver and gold. Little old Lakeland, bronze in the entire United States of America. It's pretty cool.
Okay, Liz has asked, what is harborless parking? And I don't think...
hardwareless. Hardwareless. Excuse me, I may not have enunciated it very well. Hardwareless parking. In other words...
Angelo is from Canada. That's a jelly donut,
excuse me, hardwareless.
Very
parking.
good.
Yes.
Well, Angelo, you're always welcome here, and a wealth
here.
of information. And once we get these other improvements in our new Rules of the Road video series, I'd love to have you come back.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Angelo.
Good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time.
This is a question: can Handy Bus run on Sunday and later on First Friday? That's a great question. We've got Tom Phillips we're going to bring in within the next... I'm trying to get him scheduled for February, and Tom is the executive director of the Citrus Connection, but we will get you an answer. So we'll leave that answer in our feed, and I'll talk to Tom and get you an answer regarding the Handy Bus. And now I'm very pleased to welcome, and come on in, Mr.
All right,
Mayor,
I'm in.
our new mayor, Bill Mutz. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here.
Well, just to give you a little background on what we're doing here.
All right.
This is our Facebook Live television show. We do it on Mondays. It's called Access Live, and it's really an interactive way for our viewers to not only to learn about new City of Lakeland initiatives and projects, but they are able to pose questions. And we've had a number of
questions.
We love them. We've had a number of really good questions this morning. Before we even get started, congratulations on your election. I'm excited, and I know a number of us that work for the city are very excited to have you at the helm. Can you tell us, just as an icebreaker, new year, we all make resolutions. Have you made a resolution for 2018?
Well, I think primarily for me, this is going to be a listening year, and that may not sound as exciting, but really I have to focus on the people that are in place, and we have an outstanding group of city employees. I mean, super outstanding. And the more time I spend with them, the more intrigued I am with the skills and the capability they have. The second thing is I have to work on processes, and I'm extra government, so I'm coming in. This is my first opportunity to serve, and I love this city. I've served in other capacities, but to be able to understand how do you do it and work through the processes appropriately. So I have a lot to learn in that respect. And then really to focus on the potential that we have as a city, which is what excites me. And being deliberative about our decision-making, taking enough time to absorb the things that we need to know before making decisions, but then making them. And being conclusive, because I believe we can lose a lot of time, and that creates a lot of cost when we drag. And so I don't want to be making knee-jerk decisions, but want to be making well-informed decisions based on the resources that we have to accomplish the most that we can for the most number of people.
So for 2018 and your first year as mayor, do you have any... I know during your campaign, a lot of things are said. Is there any initiative that you would like to bring forward in your first year?
Well, seeing us resolve parking issues downtown, working on the Dixie Land Road Diet, which I think is also a safety issue for us as a city, and we need to get that done. working on One Lakeland, which is an initiative I'm going to spend a little bit of time on, which will be more grassroots, but really working on helping to take inclusion across our city in a more mentoring kind of role. And I think we have exciting opportunities to do that with the existing agencies and faith-based organizations and just individuals and neighborhood associations that exist to help make that happen in a more deliberative way. Building on a long-term basis, really two factors in that. One is to create hope and dreams in students on the educational side, and then on the workforce development side to have places to make sure we are engaging those growing hopes and dreams. I think we have a lot of potential there.
We do, and I know that there's a few commissioners that are new on board and some existing. That education is very important, and it's really tough for a city entity to tell the school board really what to do.
We can't.
But we can
Right.
use influence.
Right, absolutely. And we can come alongside efforts that they're already doing. And they're doing a lot of things
They are.
well. You know, we focus sometimes on being critical of the education system, but our public school system is doing wonderful things, and many, many of them very well.
So we've got Nathaniel ask about thoughts on municipal internet.
Well, I think what, Nathaniel, the most important thing we do is something that's affordable on municipal internet. And so what we really have to do is think about, there's two factors in this. You could be talking about Surf Lakeland, which is our internet just in availability downtown and certainly eliminating the digital divide. That I'm 100% all in on. In fact, I was an early advocate a decade ago on the internet, on Surf Lakeland, in terms of getting that started. What we have to think about in terms of the last mile delivery and enhanced internet speed has to be affordable. And sometimes I think we can talk about these things where we all raise our hand and say, I want it, let's have it, I want it in my house. Then when I told you what the bill would be for that, you would go, I'm absolutely fine with what I have today. We have to balance, that's the reality of what can we do cost effectively, and also not outrace technology, because there might be some solutions that are very near term that allow us to do that final mile much more cost effectively than by coax.
And just quickly, for many of our viewers who may not realize, the city of Lakeland, we have about 350 miles of fiber. And fiber is a very quick way to move data, and it's one of the fastest ways to have internet speed. Well, the city owns 350 miles of data, and right
already
now,
in place.
Already in place. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And then we've got an initiative, broadband initiative, does the city try to do something with that 350 miles of fiber and offer our citizens a fast internet solution, but there is a cost. And unfortunately, even though we have a 350 mile backbone, if you will, of infrastructure, it's that what they call the last mile, and it's the connection from that internet pipe to the homes is where the real cost is.
That's where the cost really takes place. And so we want to make sure we are looking at all the alternatives that are available both today and in the very near term to do what's cost effective. You can talk to internet cities around the country who have spent money on enhancing speed, and in no case, zero, are any of these profitable net results. They are hundreds of millions of dollars of net cost to the city. So if we're going to be doing something like that, we want to make certain that we do it on a very informed basis. And so there's a lot of complexities, but we will dig into it hard.
Yeah, we want to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars.
You
And
have
that's
to be.
the prime thing. So, got a lot of exciting things happening in 2018. What do you see as right now as the city's biggest challenge?
Well, first of all, this is a great city.
It really is.
And when you go around the country or even around the world and you realize how wonderful Lakeland is and the quality of the people that we have here, there's lots to celebrate. So I think perhaps maybe the way to start the biggest challenge is to appreciate basically what we have in place is pretty wonderful. It's a great place to live, great part of the country to live, and a very caring and listening community. The biggest challenge we have is to make sure everyone feels listened to, in my view. And I think we have an inclusion opportunity to do that. And that's something that's really important to me on a personal basis, and I know to the other commissioners. And so we want to spend time getting close to what people feel are the needs that need to be addressed the most in their communities. Maybe some areas that we just take existing momentum of what's in place and enhance it, and in other areas maybe we have been a little slow in even getting to those issues. So we're going to start, so I'm going to coordinate with Kevin here, of course, but we're going to start some opportunity to do some kind of an iteration of meetings that make sure that we are in every sector of the city
Sure.
and listening well, and that's very important to me.
And take town hall to the people.
This is a listening year.
Right.
Continue the momentum that's in place, but really listen well to what needs to be done, and then we will plan and move hard.
Good. Great to hear. So I know on your campaign trail, you were out campaigning, and it was really also campaigning during a time where we were hit by a hurricane, had a lot of debris on the ground. But besides that, what did you hear from the people? What did you hear that, hey, this is what we want you to do once you take office?
I think a lot of that, our campaign in this particular race was so much about strong mayor, and
I didn't want to say it.
yeah, but my response to that is that what we want to make sure we have is strong leadership, and we have a great form of government, and I have so much respect for our city manager and for the continuity that he provides, and I am concerned when we think about elections as being a person that we put in every 4 years to
Right.
be able to be that person, instead of having stability that we have. We don't sacrifice anything in this structure other than perhaps a little of inefficiency in having to work through people, but with strong leadership, and I really believe a commission that City Manager Delgado feels strongly supported by and that listens well in both directions. I think we bridge that problem, and we're going to see the fruit of that this year.
Well, I heard one thing when we had our, inauguration, when our new commission came on board at our first meeting. You talked about long-term planning, not only the 5-year, the 10-year, but the 20 years. So
Right.
would you just...
Yeah, so we have a lot of our initiatives already in place. So what do we need to do? We need to be thinking about how much we build today in our downtown, what goes in those ideal spots in downtown, how do we step up to more housing and density downtown with time, and what are the right next steps? What do we do to increase our college campuses and to support the education and keeping students here? And many of those initiatives have begun and are in place, but this has to be a place where when we have Tampa and Orlando on either side of us, and the ability to be optimally located, to be able to serve both those cities in terms of where some of our people may wish to work and have opportunities and chapters of their lives to work from time to time, but grow our own city in which they want to remain and stay and live within, and the opportunities that exist here. Less distribution oriented, much more manufacturing and high skill, high wage oriented with time, but understanding that with every PhD you get out at Poly, for example, there's 125 people that
Right.
support that PhD in terms of what's being done. Well, those are great skills that we learn at Polk State and at Kaiser, and so we have to think about how are we doing to equip jobs, particularly in this entire middle level of people that want to use skills and not necessarily for your college education.
I recently met with Jason Willey, who is our manager of economic development, and he was sharing with me some of the things coming down the pike in 2018 here in the city of Lakeland. We've got a number of new residential developments coming. We've got businesses and distributorships that are expanding. It's a lot of exciting things, and it's refreshing to hear you as well as coming as a mayor. Like, we already have a great city. I am from a coastal community, Fernandina Beach, Florida, and was interesting when my parents come to visit, just how wow, you guys are run really well, and it's so beautiful, and it's just nice to hear those kind of things from not only those are from the outside, but then to hear you reiterate that as well.
Just think about what we all got to see following Irma in terms of the infrastructure of the city being torn at and restored so quickly. And we were out electricity 6 days at our house. There's some fun in that too, though,
Yeah.
from time to time to go through that. And but I like electricity. I'm all in electricity. Don't misunderstand. But watching people work together, watching the city work together, watching outside contractors help us, getting those stumps and trees out of the roads, and really, essentially by the time we got to January 1st, we had the phase 1 finished,
Right.
and we're really into phase 2 and phase 3 on that cleanup. I don't remember hearing any city employees along the way whining or complaining about that. They just love doing their jobs and getting it done.
Okay, Chris has posed a question. Appreciate Mayor's heart about listening. Many of the homeless feel unheard, concerned about Talbot House specifically. There's no real question there, but just tell us. I know we have a contract with a vendor who's looking at a homeless plan.
Correct.
I'm not sure if you're just coming in, if you know a whole lot about that.
I do.
Okay.
So we are really looking at developing the plan to do the best job of handling the homeless problems throughout the country on a long-term basis. What do we do? What's first to do to handle that well? We have organizations like Talbot House and Lighthouse and the Salvation Army that for years have done the handling of those entities. I have been involved with all of those organizations from time to time. Talbot does a great job.
They do.
Specifically creating skills and giving them an opportunity to get back into the job market. But we have to address the differing needs because some people don't want to get back in the job market and some people do. And so what we want to do first is talk about how we take this problem and equip people through it that want to work through life transition and life change. And so I am a strong advocate. I was involved originally when we did during Mayor Fletcher's era of trying to get all the homeless organizations to work together. When
Right.
they didn't, they really kind of stood on their own and creating some synergy there. We will continue to address that population.
And one of the national initiatives is the Housing First initiative,
Right.
and that's something we're also looking into.
Correct. Housing First seems to be one of the leading ways to be the most helpful as a city.
Right, the most successful. Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being our guest today. I'd love to have you in the future.
You tell me when I'll be down here.
Awesome.
Okay,
Glad to
thank
hear.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate
This
it
has
very much.
been Kevin Cook, and you've been watching our Access Live Facebook broadcast. Well, I'll let you know that we've got some great events coming up this week. We have a jazz concert at Simpson Park at 6 p.m. It's 6 to 9 p.m. at Simpson Park as part of our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. festivities. We have our MLK Day Parade on Saturday, and then we have Mega Dream Fest immediately following the parade. Once again, it's been Kevin Cook, and you've been watching Access Live.